Hello and welcome, I'm Arumba, thank you for joining me. Let's play some Galactic Civilizations 3, the beta. So, Galciv 3 is slated to come out in the first quarter of 2015. The alpha was released in early 2014, and today, the beta is now available for, mostly I believe just for people who have the press pass, but you can also purchase in, I think, for about $45 you can buy the beta. It's actually less expensive than the full price game will be, which I believe is going to retail for about $50. Now, of course, this is the long-awaited sequel to Galactic Civilizations 2, which was, in my opinion, probably the best space-based 4X game ever made. Some people may disagree and think that games like maybe Alpha Centauri were better, but I just will always believe Galciv 2 was the best. So I have very high hopes for Galciv 3. I'm really expecting a lot out of this game. I'm hoping that they update it to a 2015 style interface, which seems pretty good so far. Now keep in mind that we're still playing the beta, so it's not complete. You'll see some sections that say things like coming soon. You'll also notice that 4 of the 8 races are not currently available. Right now there are no neutral people in the game. And so let's go ahead, we'll just fire into a game. Plays the Drengen. And let's go ahead and just say maybe medium-sized galaxy. We won't change very many of the settings. Unfortunately, one thing I noticed is that the sound effects slider doesn't work, and so you'll hear that click noise is very loud. Right now, the only form of conquest, or the only form of victory, is conquest. Research victory, alliance victory, influence, ascension, turn limit. None of these things are enabled yet. It's all combat all the time, which is perfect for me. Let's go ahead and make sure that we have, say, 3 enemies. We'll have the Terrans, the Altarians, and the Iridium Corporation. Right now, it's a very basic beta, so you can only have one of each opponent type. You can check their, they've got various levels of intelligence, and one of the things that I just have to say is so amazing about Galactic Civilization in general is that, unlike other games, where if you increase the AI's ability, the way that they make the game harder is by cheating and just giving them extra stuff. They don't do that in Galactic Civilization. What happens is the AI is just really, really clever. They are really clever. And if you put them at godlike intelligence, they will see through every little tactic that you as a player are going to try to use. And it's really actually kind of funny. There's some interesting stuff online, like where if you set the AI for I can't remember which race it was, but one of them, and you have it on beginner, and you amass a huge number of troops near their borders, come to you and say, like, we know what you're doing, but because we are something, we're not going to make any move on it. But it's pretty comical to me. And they actually added that in because they were afraid that the reviewing people, like, game reviewers, would think that the AI was abysmal in the game, but it's not that way. It's just because they're playing down to your dumbness. So anyway, unfortunately we have to do this beta for testing purposes all the time. It's always going to be there. So this is like a top-down isometric type view. It's a hex grid. We have a medium-sized galaxy, so you can see the borders there. And we are red. We are the Drengen. We're evil. Quite a bit of fun. So one thing that's kind of cool is they've got some default views. You can always freely zoom by clicking the middle mouse button, and you can find any angle that you like. I love the gorgeous backgrounds. They look very nice. I personally like to use the shortcut key 4, so it's just mostly top down. It's just easier for me to try to gauge where we're going and everything. So you've got debris and things that are in the air or out in space. Now, a major change from Galactic Civilization 2 to Galactic Civilization 3 is that they've added in shipyards. So all ships are constructed in shipyards now, and shipyards, as you can see by this little line, are, I wouldn't say tethered to a planet, but they call it sponsored. So a planet will sponsor its production to a shipyard, and the shipyard itself can move. So for example, if we want to, we can click unanchor and then move the shipyard 1 tile per turn. So you can advance your ship production line toward the enemy and still maintain production sponsorship. So that's pretty cool. We start off the game with a scout. We'll go ahead and command him to explore, because that's what they're for. We have a colony ship. a survey ship, which is designed for looking at anomalies and things. So we'll go ahead and command him to survey. He'll just automatically do that. It's probably better to just tell them to go do it like manually, but it's too much work. Now, we start off with an uninhabitable planet right next to our capital, Drangi. We also got another one here, and it looks like Kona is a inhabitable planet. So let's send this ship to that planet and go start our second colony. Let's go ahead and do it. Now, every time you colonize, you're going to get a colonization event, and then there's also random events that happen through the game. So upon landing on this world, you quickly realize that it has been inhabited before. Beneath the northern ice, explorers have found an ancient starship. They believe they can free the ship from the ice, but the resulting melt will flood much of the arable land on the planet, and the climate change will kill most of the unique native species. Leave the ship buried, but study its technology. We'll gain 25% research. Set aside interior land to create refugees for the native species. Then free the ship from the ice. So we get a free precursor ship. Population cap goes down. Much of the planet is flooded. There's too much life in the universe as it is, and free ships are hard to come by. That's funny. Well, why would we want to do... That's funny. Population cap minus 25. Much of the planet is flooded. Much of the planet is flooded. Let's just kill all the people. We'll take the free ship. Why not? It's a 4 population, or a 4 planet class planet anyway, so there's only 4 buildable tiles, which is fine. We have an ancient wonder here. Interesting. Other than that, we've got some prairie lands and some other prairie lands. So I want to go check out this new ship. What do we get? We've got a DRF Lost Defender. It's got missiles. Wow. We can go to details and check out the actual components on this ship. Got some various informations. Costs 0.6 credits per turn. It would cost 67 to build or buy, I suppose that would be. Got a hyperdrive, some life support. It has a chaff defense, and then 2 Sparrow missile launchers. So, pretty sweet. I'm pretty sure we don't have those technologies unlocked yet, so this is a pretty advanced ship. We can go blow some stuff up with it. It even starts with moves. Fantastic. Command you to explore. Alright, so everybody's got a job. Next up, we're going to go to the govern screen, which is pretty sweet. Again, you'll see quite a bit is not in the game yet. We've got colonies, governors, trade, and stats. All this stuff is not enabled yet. Now, this is a little bit different. It's this is kind of how you budget how your production will be spent. So your planet has population, and that population generates production. You also have structures on your planets which increase production, and then you just have this slider, this 3-dimensional nearly slider. You can just move in every direction. And you can move more towards wealth, science, or towards production itself. And then here you've got a slider that says, okay, do you want to produce social production, like building buildings, or do you want to make military production and make ships? And so you can kind of control it. Now, this slider controls how much of the production from Drangi is going to be sponsored to the shipyard. So if I set it to, say, 100%, then all of the production is going to go towards the shipyard. And we're going to see 21.6 manufacturing per turn. But in the planet, anytime we want to build an improvement, this is not applicable. It's not even possible to build this because we have no manufacturing production on planet. So hopefully that makes sense. We're going to go back to govern. We're going to go to right in the center. It's fine for now. And we'll say 50-50 again. You can see our weekly income saving. We're making 5 buckets of ducats. We start off the game with 2,500 credits and 100 approval. Now, technology, if you're familiar with Galactic Civilization 2, you'll remember a tech tree that looks a lot more like this, but they have broken it up into 4 separate groups. Got intimidation, warfare, engineering, and imperialism. And I believe that each race has their own special tech trees. I haven't actually played as anyone other than the Drangi, because I like offensive cultures and religions and teams and things like that. So, but they also have this new interface as well. We could just use this kind of smaller one. Doesn't show it side by side. It doesn't give you the visual what it leads to, but you can just maybe pick stuff based on what you think is going to be useful right now. So Xeno exploitation would give us the ability to make a... it unlocks the forced labor camp, which would be good. And then planetary exploitation allows us to build some Xeno farms, which would increase the amount of population cap we'd have on a planet. Colonial hospital increases the growth rate. We could probably go for missiles and stuff. Why don't we do that? Let's get some weapon systems. We're the Drengi, after all. Now, ideology is also new. We took the option that was malevolent by killing all the people, or whatever, on that one planet. And so, depending on how you interact with the random events that happen in the game, you're going to earn points towards either benevolence, pragmatism, malevolence, and then you spend those points to unlock things in these three triangle tech trees. And it affects your standing, which affects the relationship and opinion that people are going to have of you. So, for instance, if you are a very benevolent culture of people and the next door neighbor is very malevolent, you're probably not going to get along. So it kind of forms natural alliances. And without forgetting, probably the most important feature of Galactic Civilization is the ship designer. The ship designer is like, it's like its own mini game. We're gonna do this. We'll go cancel. We will take, like, say let's take the Constructor Mark 1. This is the automatic ship. You know, these are generated by the game. But we can say use design. And now we can modify this to make our own ship type. So this is what they've designed it as. It's kind of cool. It's like a little ship carrying something. And you can click on any of these things and change them, move them, like really do whatever you want. So for instance, if we wanted to just, for some reason, animate this, let's see, what would this be? Probably be the X or the Y axis. We could say animate it, and with a speed of 1. And it's moving pretty slow. Yep, see, that's not the one we want. We want probably the Y-axis. Now it's going to rotate around, and it's going to actually go through the ship, which makes no sense at all. But you can actually set it right here. We can say oscillate instead of rotate. So I could just make it move around like there. For whatever reason. I don't know. Or you can add in other design components. You can add in parts to the ship, like extra wings and blades and stuff. The little red triangles are hardpoint connector locations, so you can add one in there, and then maybe add one in here. And like I said, you can basically spend just as much time playing this game as playing the actual space game. Now this is all cosmetic, but there are items that you add to the ship that actually have an effect. And so depending on your technology, you see this 78 out of 80. This is the maximum amount of stuff that you can put on this ship. This thing has a mass of 16, so we can't add another one. That would put us over by quite a bit. And when you're on design mode, you can see the cosmetic pieces. When you're on equip mode, you can see the non-cosmetic pieces. So this ship has a constructor module. It has a hyperdrive, life support, life support, life support, and life support. So it's designed to be able to travel pretty far. And then, of course, with the constructor module, it allows it to build star bases and shipyards and things. So we're obviously not going to save any changes to this design. In fact, I believe you have to save it separately. You can't save over the defaults. So let's do this. We're going to press the tab key to go to our idle colony, and we've got projects. Projects work kind of similar to, well, Civilization 5 or other types of games where you can convert wealth into other commodities or other resources. So if we wanted to, we could just have all production dedicated towards birthing subsidies or towards festival to improve approval, get some more research, get some more wealth. Or we can make a project to build another shipyard. Now, if you have fewer planets than shipyards, then I don't think the shipyard will do anything because you have to sponsor it from a planet. But improvements are things you actually build on the ground. Now, there is a very big change in this game from Galactic Civilization 2, which is that notice how pretty much every structure you can build has this bonus to adjacent improvements. So it's more like it's similar to like a puzzle game where depending on how you lay out your buildings, you can stack bonuses and get even further production boosts. So our capital here has +1 level to everything. Anything we build next to the capital is going to get a bonus. We on our capital planet, we have a thing here called a planet fall. Increase to influence, which doesn't really matter yet because influence isn't in the game. +1 to wealth. And then we've got a geothermal springs. +2 to manufacturing. So I'd say it's probably a decent idea to put a manufacturing type construction there. We'll go ahead and build a work camp over here. And that's that +2. It's saying if you build it here, it'll have +1 levels from the adjacent buildings. So if I build it here, this one's going to have +1 because this one's going to provide it with +1. And by building it here, it's going to also give this one +1. We want to put them near each other so that they stack their bonuses. So we're going to build some work camps. Let's go back to the govern screen and let's focus. I guess we'll just stay right in the middle, really. And I would really like to knock out a couple of those things with no ship production for now. We have second idle colony. This one, we can probably go ahead and knock out a work camp as well. It take this one 21 turns to build though, because it's a very weak planet. That little beep beep means that we have nothing else that's possible to do on this turn, and so we're going to click the turn button. There's enter, or you can click. Ships are going to automatically path around because I've set them to auto explore and stuff. And that's all pretty good and fine. So we've got some population growth happening. We have an unanchored shipyard. That's right, I had moved it. Let's send it that direction. And we'll let a few turns pass. Because I've got all of the ships on auto exploration, it's just beeping as soon as the turn passes. Now this is an interesting little line here. The red line indicates our area of influence. Anything that's in our area of influence is very likely to become ours. Other people can't use it, and they're essentially committing an act of war by entering our territory. This little dashed line is the supply range that the current ship that you have selected can travel to. So this ship can travel much further because it has more life support modules than, say, this ship, or, say, the shipyard. The shipyard can barely leave our area of influence. So we would have to create star bases to expand our area of influence to be able to advance the shipyards further forward. So that's all well and good. Oh, you know what we should also do is we should tether or sponsor this shipyard with the other planet as well. Have them both sponsor it. So when we do decide to make some ships, it will have even more production. Without having it sponsored, I'm fairly certain all that would happen is that all production would go towards building the work camp. The work camp costs 26 manufacturing, and we're only generating 1.6 per turn. So it's kind of to be expected. If you want to, you can manually govern each individual planet. So if we wanted this planet to be a production planet, we could do that. And there's also something that will be in the game called planetary governors, where you can create a governor, which kind of sets like a template for how you want it to manage the planet. And then when you build the planet, click the button, forget about the planet. Pretty convenient. So, all right, I'm going to take a break here. If you like this video and you like games like this, or you want to see me play more games like this, or you want to see this game continue to be played, make sure you click the like button, support the series. It helps out quite a bit with things like search results and ranking. So I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon.